From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are following at this hour. The U.S. State Department is firing more than 1,300 employees on Friday in line with a dramatic reorganization plan from the Trump administration that critics say will damage America's global leadership and efforts to counter threats abroad. The department is sending layoff notices to 1,107 civil servants and 246 foreign service officers with domestic assignments in the United States, according to a senior department official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss personnel matters before individual notices were emailed to affected employees. Foreign service officers affected will be placed immediately on administrative leave for 120 days, after which they will formally lose their jobs, according to an internal notice obtained by the Associated Press. For most civil servants, the separation period is 60 days, it said. While lauded by President Donald Trump, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and their Republican allies as overdue and necessary to make the department leaner, more nimble, and more efficient, the cuts have been roundly criticized by current and former diplomats who say they will weaken U.S. influence and its ability to counter existing and emerging threats abroad. If you like tariffs, you will like this story. President Donald Trump said in a letter that he will raise taxes on many imported goods from Canada to 35%, deepening a rift between two North American countries that have suffered a debilitating blow to their decades-old alliance. The Thursday letter to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is an aggressive increase to the top 25% tariff rates that Trump first imposed in March after months of threats. Trump's tariffs were allegedly in an effort to get Canada to crack down on fentanyl smuggling, despite the relatively modest trafficking in the drug from that country. Trump has also expressed frustration with a trade deficit with Canada that largely reflects oil purchases by the United States. I must mention that the flow of fentanyl is hardly the only challenge we have with Canada, which has many tariff and non-tariff policies and trade barriers, Trump wrote in the letter. The higher rates would go into effect August 1st, creating a tense series of weeks ahead for the global economy as recent gains in the S&P 500 stock index suggest many investors think Trump will ultimately back down on the increases. Taco is as taco does, I guess. But stock market futures were down early Friday in a sign that Trump's wave of tariff letters may be starting to generate concern among investors. And now this news from Missouri. 8 months after voters approved it, Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed the repeal of a law Thursday that had guaranteed paid sick leave to workers and inflationary adjustments to the minimum wage. The move marked a major victory for the state's largest business group and a frustrating defeat for workers' rights advocates who had spent years and millions of dollars building support for the successful ballot measure. The repeal will take effect August 28th. Kehoe, who also signed a package of tax breaks Thursday, described the paid sick leave law as an onerous mandate that imposed burdensome record keeping. Today, we are protecting the people who make Missouri work, families, job creators, and small business owners by cutting taxes, rolling back overreach, and eliminating costly mandates. Kehoe, a Republican, said in a statement released after a private bill signing ceremony. The new tax law excludes capital gains from individual state income taxes, expands tax breaks for seniors and disabled residents, and exempts diapers and feminine hygiene products from sales taxes. And finally, Jane Towler was up late in a small cabin along the Guadalupe River as thunder boomed through a thrashing rain. It was 4 a.m. and water was pooling on the floor. Suddenly her phone rang. It was her friend from a nearby cabin. "Jane, we're effed," Brian Keeper said frantically. "The water's in my house. Get out." Towler's grandfather bought the property in Texas Hill Country in the 1930s, and she's lived through many floods in her 70 years, losing a canoe or chairs here and there. But last Friday was different. The river would swell 26 feet in 45 minutes and lay waste to homes and buildings, sweep away cars and trucks, and claim the lives of more than 100 people, including many summer campers. Towler didn't know how bad things would get, but the fear in Keeper's voice kicked her into flight mode. We'll post the remainder of this story on the PEP Radio YouTube channel. When you watch the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel. That's the news at this hour. Up next, time for the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.